Welcome to Just an Average Fantasy Football Podcast.
Welcome in to Just an Average Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Hayes, with Matt Baker.
That's me.
You can find us at avgffpod.com. You can also find us by searching for Just an Average Fantasy Football Podcast on the socials or anywhere you can get a podcast. Go give us a like, follow, subscribe. Help us get this thing going. Man, the injury monster showed up again this week.
Yeah.
The Grim Reaper, the fantasy Grim Reaper.
Luckily, I will say, knock on wood, a majority of them were concussion-based or light injury-based, like nothing
Except for that Aiden Hutchins. I mean, Aiden Hutchins is not, like big unless you're in IDP leagues or whatever, but that one was pretty bad.
Well, that guy, his leg hit against has an iron leg.
Apparently.
But just something was in it just, woo. That was yuck.
I refuse to watch it.
I've watched it about 100 times. Yeah, it's amazing.
That kind of stuff icks me out, and then I can't get it out of my head. It just plays on like a loop.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I saw certain like pictures that people posted, and I was like I saw it happen live, of course, but you didn't recognize anything, of course, till they get slowed down, zoomed in, whatever. But I went back and watched the video, and it's like just the way his leg hit the other dude's leg.
Yeah,
it was like just a perfect storm. Like as bad to say as it was.
I'll be honest with you, as long as it took them to get him off the field in the way that everybody's reacting, I thought it was way worse than a broken leg.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
it was
I was seeing it through red zone.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was like tuned into that game, but like both teams were down on their knees surrounding him. Yeah. And they were out there forever getting an air cast on it.
He pulled his gloves off and reached down and grabbed it.
He was screaming immediately. Yeah. And I was like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here acting like a broken leg don't hurt. I get all that. I'm just saying that I thought he'd like ripped everything in his knee out or something. It was, I mean, and so for what I thought it was, recovery and all that for him will be way better than what initially I thought it was. Like, again, I thought he'd done something similar to what had happened to Chubb, where he just everything ligament and tendon in his knee got destroyed. But
he did something similar to what Alex Smith had happened to him. Kind of
and see those are also dangerous too, because Alex Smith almost lost his leg because of the circulation issues.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that's what the concern was, because it was a full clean break.
Yeah,
they didn't want it. They didn't want it pinching the artery and things like that.
Okay, so that makes sense. So that everybody was trying to be real kid gloves, out there. Yeah.
So his recovery is going to be 4 to 6 months. So he's done for the season. But
that's a big piece of that defense. I mean, their defense is really good, but he's a big piece of that defense, and this is going to be a game changer really for the Lions. I mean, they're a little soft already, but as far as like passing and everything goes, they're going to have to stack something and get something figured out. But
I mean, they weren't against the Cowboys. I don't know if it's just because of how bad the Cowboys were, but man,
the Cowboys,
the level of disrespect Detroit put on the Cowboys on Jerry Jones's birthday.
38 points, was it? That was the largest home
running
loss.
Trick plays on this.
It would touch 4 people's hands before it went to Laporta 57 yards down.
Yeah, they out there looking like the Harlem Globetrotters against the Washington Senators. It was like these. I get it. Like last year, you had the whole controversy of did Skipper report and all this stuff and all that, and so that's a lot of what they were doing was in response to that whole thing. But it was like they were not holding back, and so
not even a little bit.
I'm sitting here, I'm like watching red zone, and then I get a blip. It's the fourth quarter. They're up by 40 points when I see Amon-Ra with a 34-yard pass or such, and I'm like, what is going on right now? Yeah. I'm out there looking at the Cowboys have put in their backups.
Yeah, Cooper Rush is out there,
still running the starters
all over them.
I loved it. It was as a staunch Cowboy hater. I loved every second of it. But it was. It's one of those that we can sit here now and go, man, that was funny and all that, but had like Jared Goff got his knee blown out, and if the game was a blowout, then there's going to be an uproar. So you have to always be concerned about stuff like that, or God forbid something bad would have happened to Amon-Ra or something, or if that injury would have happened to Hutchinson after the blowout had already been and stayed in those late
and
quarter.
They were keeping him out there just to run it all over the
ground. But
well, it was 38 points. I think they said that's the largest
home
Dallas
loss.
upset loss since 1988.
Yeah,
like that's you hear all these. It's weird to hear this. Oh, they've never lost this bad since 2012. I'm like, well, that was like 12 years. That's nothing. Who cares?
Yeah.
But when you throw out 88, you're talking almost 40 years ago.
That's only like 15 years ago.
It's almost 40 years ago.
Bro, I need you.
I'm telling you.
I need you to. You need to tone it down.
Trust me. I don't want
almost,
to.
No.
I want to, but I can't. I'm that old.
No. I'm
almost that old.
We need to. 88 was. I was 11 in 88. It is not almost 40 years.
I was
ago.
3.
Okay,
and I'm almost 40. So.
No. 4 years. It's 4 years from being 40 years ago. That is not almost. That's a lot. That's an eternity away. All right. You need to quit cussing and insulting me.
I'm 2 years away from being 40. Or actually, I'm only 1.5 years away from being 40. So
I wish.
Can I say I'm close to 40 or?
God, I'm close to 50, and I just want to put my head in a meat grinder now.
It's okay. That's what 50-year-old people do, man.
All right. Well, we're not gonna get depressed.
Yeah, let's not dig that hole. Yeah, not yet. We're not 50 yet.
Yeah, you start digging that hole soon. We're dearly beloved. We're gathered here today to say goodbye. All right. So anyway, so there it is. Aiden Hutchinson.
Sorry, yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, that was a big injury. That's
a huge injury for that
loss,
defense. Yeah. He's the heart and soul of that defense. But I think they're going to rally. That team's really solid right now. They're on one, and we've talked about Dan Campbell and whatnot, and he's got that thing about him that just guys just want to fight for him. So, let's see. James Conner, day-to-day with ankle. I'm just going to kind of rapid fire these. Marvin Harrison has a concussion, so he's going to be in the protocol this week. Not that anybody listening now is going to be able to do anything about it, but James Cook. I'm sorry.
Close, though.
Is out tonight. I was kind of scared when I saw the blip come across that Frank Gore Jr. was being elevated from the practice squad. I'm like, they generally don't go into a game with 4 running backs.
Yeah. And
so when Frank Gore got elevated from the practice squad, I felt like that was an omen. And then not long after I saw that, that's when the thing came down the wire that James Cook's going to be out. So I hope you guys protected yourself for Monday night. Shaheed is getting his knee checked out. I don't think it's going to be good. I think Shaheed's going to be down for a minute. Let's see. Jordan Mason was in a non-contact jersey today, so definitely need to monitor him.
That's the shoulder injury, right?
Yeah. Olave also had a concussion, went out early.
He got knocked silly. He literally went cross-eyed and kind of.
So I expect he might probably going to miss a week. Aaron Jones was back at practice, so that's good news. Kamara was limited today. It's called simulated limited. So they're basically saying if we practice today, he would have been limited. Let's see. Richardson is going to start next week unless there's some setbacks. So I guess they need to get him back out there before everybody is just like, we want Flacco, get rid of Richardson. So,
yeah, I know, right?
Stafford said his back feels good, so I expect him to be ready to roll this week.
That's the first time he said that in his career, isn't it? Like he's had back issues for a minute.
Yeah. Let's see. Jerome Ford is week to week, as well as Tajay Spears, both of them dealing with a hammy.
That's another one that was in one of my lineups. He left the game early. Tajay Spears, I forgot about that.
Another one would Dante Wicks.
Yeah.
Dontavian Wicks. Yeah, he is week to week with his shoulder. Pretty sure he left out of his game early as well.
He's playing against his brother. Is his brother on the other side of the field, right?
No, that was
Melton.
Wicks is Melton.
It's Melton. Yeah, Bo Melton's brother is on the defensive side of that, yeah.
Let's see.
That's kind of a cool thing to have. Yeah. Play against your brother on the other side like that. Yeah,
the Barber brothers, Tiki and Rondé, did it for years. Yeah. Rondé was a corner for Tampa, and Tiki was obviously a running back for the Giants. So it was always cool when they played each other. And they were both top of the game. They were both like Hall of Fame level for their positions.
Like peak. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Rondé's in the Hall of Fame. I don't think Tiki is, but
with a name like Tiki Barber, you should be in the Hall of Fame just instantly, just to make readers enjoy reading your name out of the Hall of Fame book and stuff.
All right, well, that's the the news for the week. I forgot to hit this.
That's what you get here, just average news, and the noise comes after we give it all to you. Just boom.
All right. And so from there, we're going to head into FTG. So give me something to run into that with. I can give you this.
Yeah. That's probably a good one. I wish I could really. I need to figure out how to label all these to where I know what they are. I don't be just sitting here pushing buttons.
Well, we could pay. We could pay to get like a actual app that lets you download your own sounds.
Yeah.
So we could probably pay if we wanted to instead of just some generic thing that has ads all over it.
Or I could create a list to put beside it that's like this one is, and then do my rename of it.
We could do that.
And we just sit here and push the button and see what it, and then we name it, and I'll know what it is. I'll still fuck up, but I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, maybe right here.
All right, well,
fuck that guy.
Yeah, so I want to kick it off with a couple quarterbacks. Dak Prescott, you were a Garbaggio squared. 5.2 fantasy points. It was horrendous. Your team was horrendous. Everything about the Cowboys this week was horrendous. And you were the captain of that sinking ship. And then Kyler Murray, it's like it was supposed to be a plus matchup with Green Bay. They had, their defense isn't the toughest that's ever existed, but apparently they were more than you guys could handle. That Arizona offense is very inconsistent. I know they lost Marvin Harrison early in that game, but Kyler is one of those that you expect to be able to rise above that with his legs, and he's had some pretty nasty duds this week or this season. So
yeah.
So I just out to Dak Prescott and to Kyler Murray. I just want to give a fantasy heartfelt. Fuck those guys.
Those guys.
And real quick before you go, I wanted to kick off with this. So we generally keep guys that get injured off this list. So yeah, we know those guys screw your fantasy team. You can't predict that. We're not going to roast. So what we're going to do is we're going to roast injuries.
Yeah.
So we just want to say to injuries and who
to hamstrings
and concussions and shoulders that get hurt,
ankles, feet, whatever the feet problems,
all the ligament problems and muscle and soft.
To these guys' bodies.
Yeah, to tendonitis in the Achilles
and both Achilles. Nothing specific, but to tendonitis in both Achilles.
Both Achilles, yes. We just want to say to all
the
that,
injuries, yes.
Yeah. Fuck those injuries.
Guy injuries. Well, I guess I know we kind of collectively had only one real running back on here. And I mean, this dude's supposed to be top notch. This is his worst week.
Yeah, coming off a bye.
Coming out here.
Throw his head coach in there, too.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, too, yeah. Yes. Saquon Barkley, man, I don't know. I was so excited I finally got you back. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to lose this week. And you know what? You had other plans for me. So, from me, and I guess, like you said, with the other head coach, and that's Nick Sirianni.
Yes. And for reasons that are so, Sirianni's been catching flack, obviously, because his team is underperforming based off of the talent level and what people expect
and what they've seen from him in the past.
And he beats not him. The team beats a floundering freaking Browns team barely, and he's having a cussing match with the fans afterwards. You're yelling at them, and it's you look like a child out there. Yeah. All right. And you're supposed to be a leader of an organization, and you look like you're the freaking wide receiver who's mad because he's not getting enough targets or something, screaming at the fans in the stands over winning by 5 or whatever they beat. Maybe it was 8.
I don't know. 4. 20-16.
Yeah, you barely beat a team that is just on fire in a bad way right now. So
the worst offense, I personally think in the league, they're just so bad.
Currently, I would say that the Miami offense. The current Miami offense,
with what they got going on,
what they went into the bye with, but
they're struggling with injury.
Right,
we're not looking at Deshaun and the Browns.
If we're just talking basic,
paper.
Offense, yes.
If you start from finishing,
with all their players,
with everybody healthy,
Chubb, they're
the worst.
They have the worst quarterback in the league, maybe in the history of.
But he's going to start next week. That wasn't part of the news.
History,
he's going to start next week.
The Predator Watson is going to, surprise, he's only got a $200 million dead cap hit, so he's going to get the start.
He's going to be out there.
I heard an interesting theory real quick, and I don't really prescribe to it, but it's funny to think about that the Browns are really kind of playing the a shell game with this whole thing, that they signed him to this contract knowing that he stinks, and now they're forcing him to keep going out there and sucking every week, so that he just keeps going out there,
just making
embarrassing,
just rubbing it in.
Yeah,
so it's ruining.
Deep down, they're willing to destroy their own franchise and pay all this money just to make him go out there and look like garbage.
That's kind of gold.
Like I said, on one hand, it's a dumb theory, but it's funny to think about.
But
anyway, to Nick Sirianni and to Saquon Barkley,
fuck those guys.
All right, well, I'm going to hit on some tight ends here. Tucker Kraft, everybody's like, go get Tucker Kraft. He's the guy. He's going to get all these targets. Well, that didn't happen. Pat Freiermuth had a down week. That offense, I don't know. It's kind of a hit and miss. It was the Fields offense where he was running and got a couple touchdowns. It was, but
he did have 2 touchdowns called back on penalties and stuff. So they were targeting him in the red zone. But
so to the refs or to the O line,
to the people who fucked up,
to those guys mainly.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah, and to Jake Ferguson. But when your quarterback's Dak Prescott, it's hard. I know it's hard at times.
It is
against that vaunted Detroit pass defense.
Yeah, when you're playing the Detroit fucking Lions.
Yeah, that pass defense that Detroit has, is so good, and it's so amazing that they are literally. I'm scrolling.
Keep going.
They're 12th. They're not bad. They're actually 12th now, but I think a lot of that is going off of. Against fantasy quarterbacks, a lot of that's going off that last game.
That's including the last game.
Yeah, that's including.
If we take that out of the equation,
they're
right there,
shoot way up the board.
Yeah, they're probably like 30th.
Yeah, they're going to be up here somewhere. So, but yeah, to Tucker Kraft, to Pat Freiermuth, Jake Fergs, and to the people. Well, to not to Freiermuth, we're going to cut him a break. To the offensive players who got the penalties, who got his touchdowns called back.
Correct.
I want to say to all of them,
fuck those guys. But next week, if it sucks, I don't care what happens. You're going to be on here.
It's going to be on there. Yeah.
I got a couple wide receivers here. I'm gonna throw out DJ Moore and Brian Thomas.
Okay.
DJ Moore got you a big time 6 points on a pretty decent game for their offense. Like, he was kind of putting the ball around. It was all Cole Kmet, of course, but still, Cole
Kmet, man. Whew.
Yeah, he had a game.
I'm glad I played him too. I am so glad I played him in some leagues.
And then Brian Thomas Jr. got you 5.7 points. He hasn't scored. He scored under 10 points 1 week this season.
Yep.
Every other week he's been 10 to 20, 10 to 15
I think
points.
This is a testament to how well he's been doing in that horrific offense that he's on the list this week.
Exactly. Yeah. He just made it this week.
Yeah.
Like, we're going into week 6, and I'm like, you know what? This guy's been so good.
Hey, he needs to be
here because he had 6 targets. It's still within his realm of what he's done good with.
Yeah.
But it's just for those of us who played him, for those who did play him, this is actually off team for me. I don't have him anywhere. I wasn't lucky enough to get him, but
I faded him in rookie drafts and I regret it. Him and Brock Bowers are two guys that I could have got in several drafts in the first rounds. I just didn't feel good about them. So I drafted people like Xavier Worthy instead.
Yeah. I snatched up Bowers when I could.
Yeah.
There's only 2 leagues I got him in. But
Bowers is one of my biggest regrets. I will say that.
Yeah. But like I said, it was more of a, they say this is the best talent available, and I don't really love anybody at this point. Yeah. It's like the 5th or 6th overall.
I don't feel good about rookie tight ends, but I should have trusted what I saw from him in college. The dude was a beast from the time he was a freshman until he graduated.
Yeah. And
to
DJ Moore and Brian Thomas Jr., right?
Yeah.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Yep.
From us to y'all, I guess.
Yep. Fuck those guys. Well, I'm going to close it out with a wide receiver 4-pack. Mike Evans, your quarterback threw 4 touchdowns, 2 of them to Godwin. And I don't know who got the other
1 to Cade Otton.
Yeah.
And 1 to Sean Tucker.
That's right. That was, yep. So apparently it was Mike Evans was like, he's like, you know what? You didn't get no touchdowns.
It's crazy because had he caught a touchdown in that game, it would have gave him his 100th career touchdown.
Yeah.
He's one touchdown away from his
100th
career touchdown.
So that's why you should have focused on getting him.
He should have had all 3 touchdowns, so he'd be at 102 right now.
He should have come out of the game with 105.
Exactly. That's all we're saying.
But Mike Evans had 4.4 fantasy points. Brandon Ayuk, you're almost to the point where you're not going to be included on the list anymore until you can prove you deserve to be.
We're just
going to give you one more week. If you blow ass next week, I'm not even going to talk about you. Brandon Ayuk 4.7, DK 6.3, and here's what I'm going to say about you, DK. I get it. Things are a little tense right now. That offense isn't doing the things that you want it to do, but you can't be like acting the fool on the sidelines. Let's don't be that guy.
Exactly.
Let's don't be that guy. But and then George Pickens 6.8. You went out there. You got the targets this week. You couldn't do anything with them, but you went out there and caused a stir last week. And then you went out there and crapped your pants this week. So
I think a couple other people's pants too. I saw what was going on there.
So to Mike Evans, Brandon Ayuk, DK Metcalf, and George Pickens, I want to say, fuck those guys. And
yeah, that's the end of what I got over.
All right, so
more injury than the injury one we did at the beginning. That's really where I want to base a majority of my.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, the people who were supposed to score scored, or they got hurt.
Yeah, and people that were prepared for the previous injuries. You kind of did really well with. If you went and grabbed some of these. Bucky Irving, if you were ready,
we're going to talk about the top performers here in a second.
They paid off, so
so that's fuck that guy. All right, so now we're going to talk about some top performers, and maybe a.
Oh, I like that.
That feels good right there.
I like that. That works out.
That kind of feels like you're in like a dream, and you're just like. I don't know.
Like your fairy godmother just showed up.
What was that? What was that?
That's close, right?
He's like a weird cat.
Well, I do what I do.
All right, so let me get into the app here.
God bless, man.
What?
I'm just looking at Sean Tucker's numbers.
Yeah, he looked good. Sean Tucker's he's one of those guys. So that meme you posted or you tagged me in.
Oh, where that guy was like, pick it up and drop, pick it up, drop it.
Is in a Dynasty Facebook group.
Same person 100 times.
Yeah, that's me. Because every week when right before the games, or as people are declared out, if I've got room on my IR, which a lot of IRs now are full, but if I've got a spot or two, I'll move the out players onto my IR and I'll just go grab somebody off of waivers that I think could potentially maybe become something or whatever, the best one I can find. And a lot of times it's a guy like Sean Tucker. So in some of these leagues, I'll add, drop. I did it with Kyron Williams for 2 years. And then when he got good, I couldn't get him because I was dropping him every week, like hoping he would get an opportunity. And then he didn't ever get an opportunity. And then when he got an opportunity, it was like, oh, well, that was a week after I dropped him.
Not doing that. Yeah.
And so the same thing is probably going to happen to me with somebody like Sean Tucker. But I don't know that he can take, Bucky Irvin. Bucky Irvin looked great too.
Yeah, no,
but
he's definitely
Sean Tucker was somebody coming out in the draft 2 years ago that people are kind of talking about, and I want to say he was hurt. Something happened, and he either didn't report the combine, but there was something there. I want to say he got injured in college right before he came out, and then he just kind of fell off the map, and then he was drafted late, and then everybody kind of forgot about him. But either way. He looked great. He finally got some playing time and looked good. And he's sitting currently as the number one fantasy player on the week. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's start off with the quarterbacks. So Caleb Williams, he's been on a bit of a roll. They kind of changed that offense around. Now it's when you're rolling out against teams like Jacksonville, Carolina,
it's been pretty soft schedule.
The Rams and the Colts. Those are the last 4 opponents, and the Rams were the ones where he did the worst against. But he did good against Colts. Bad against the Rams, and then good against Carolina and Jacksonville. So he's got a bye this week, and next week he's got Washington. So and then he's got Arizona. So he's got 2 more really good weeks. So he's going to be somebody you're going to want to be riding with for the next couple weeks when he comes out of the bye for sure.
Yes.
But he's sitting currently as a QB1 on the week, and he went out there and threw for 226 yards, and he rushed for another 56.
He had a big run. He had a couple
big runs, touchdowns. Yeah. Yep. A couple of them to a guy we're going to be talking about here in a minute is tight end not Zach Ertz, Jesus, Cole Kmet.
Cole Kmet, yeah.
Baker Mayfield going out there and just rubbing it in Cleveland's face every chance he gets.
I don't know. I think Baker's legit.
I think
I've been
legit.
holding my breath. Like I have to. Like I want to go Baker because me and him share something.
Name? Yeah,
I'm Baker and he's Baker. Yes. He's definitely better at football than I am. But
well, his first name's Baker.
I don't know if he's better at being Baker though than I am.
There's nobody that's better at being Baker.
That's what I'm saying.
You are the best Baker. He's the best quarterback.
That makes sense. I'll secede. I'll secede.
Don't secede. Calm down over there. What are you, a Southern State back in the
18? I guess
you'll concede.
I'll do whatever it means to let him have his quarterback greatness. Yeah, I'll be the best Baker.
Oh God. All right. You don't have to start your own other podcast for me, dude. We can work this out. But yeah, he's a QB2, 325 yards, 4 passing touchdowns. It just looked great. Dude was on it. I mean, there were a couple of plays where he just rifled it right in there. And I thought it was funny. So I don't know if you know this. When he was in college, he played at Oklahoma, and they beat Texas, and he planted the Oklahoma flag in the middle of Texas.
I remember that, yeah.
Well, Texas just beat Oklahoma in Oklahoma this week. They took a Baker Mayfield jersey and put it in the middle field and then planted the flag in the jersey.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Baker was great. But they asked Baker about it at the press conference, and he said, he said something to the effect of, I think it's cool that because I'm pretty sure Baker's from Texas. So he's like that a Texas boy went to Oklahoma and played in Oklahoma and beat Texas, and now still lives rent free in their heads.
In their heads, yeah.
I was like, well, that's true, because it's been, God, how many years since he's been out of college, and they still.
That's what I'm saying. Like at any point in time, they're still bringing it up now. That's pretty gold.
But yeah, he's sitting there at the QB2. Jordan Love is QB3, 258 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and looking good out there. That offense is rolling. He's got a lot of guys to throw to. Jared Goff, I think he just threw another touchdown against the Cowboys.
Or either that or David Montgomery ran another one in. One of the two happened. 315
yards, 3 passing touchdowns. Excuse me, for Goff. Brock Purdy, he got the week started pretty nice on Thursday, and I benched him this week and played Dak over him, which is awesome.
That's the worst.
It's terrible, and I'm getting clapped in that league, as I should.
For that reason.
Mainly for that reason, yes. But he threw for 255 yards, 3 touchdowns. Justin Fields, 145 passing yards, no passing touchdowns, but he did rush for 2 and had 59 rushing touchdowns.
Rushing yards.
That
would be fucking amazing to have 50. He'd been at the top of all the lists.
That's what happens when I play Madden on the lowest setting. Jalen Hurts, even barely beating Cleveland, 264 yards, rushed for 33, 3 for 2 touchdowns, QB7. Bo Nix is looking, as the season goes, he's looking more and more solid. They did lose against the Chargers, but he threw for 216 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's got some mobility. Rushed for 61. I saw him, get out a little bit and make some things happen with his legs.
Last 2 weeks were kind of against a little bit soft defenses too. When he played against the Jets, they let him know. But next week he plays New Orleans, so we'll see really what happens.
And just so you know, this is before the Monday night game, but we got 3 rookies here to end the top 10, and we started off with a rookie. So. Yeah. But Jaden Daniels is a QB9 of the week. That offense still looks good. That defense is still atrocious. So, it's always going to be a good. They're always going to have to fight. But he threw for 269 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. He didn't really run much.
They kind of shut that down a little bit. I think I kind of saw that with the Ravens. He had more pass attempts in this game, 10 more than any other game this season.
Yeah.
And he had more completions, more yardage.
Yeah.
But his rushing was way down, like 6 for 22.
I just love that he's unlocked McLaurin. That just makes me so happy.
He definitely has unlocked McLaurin.
And then the QB10 on the week, 243 passing yards in his first start, not his first action, but his first start. Drake May threw 3 passing touchdowns, and you were kind of calling it on Demario Douglas. Everybody else was pointing more towards Polk and maybe who's the other rookie?
Baker.
Yeah, Baker. There it is. I forgot that. Javon Baker. But they're kind of pointing more towards them and maybe Hunter Henry being the main targets. But you were really big on Demario Douglas, I'm pretty sure.
Demario Douglas and Booty. Booty got 3 receptions, 3 and a touchdown, not 3 touchdowns. 3. Yeah. And but Hunter Henry's still 8.
He still had a good week. Yeah. Sean Tucker is the RB1. He is currently the fantasy scorer of the the week. He rushed. He only played 38% of the snaps.
Yeah, he was super efficient, man.
Yeah, but he had 14 rushes for 136 yards, and he also had 56 yards receiving. Had a rushing and a receiving touchdown. Just looked good out there. Joe Mixon came back from the injury and said, "I'm still him.
I'm him." Yeah.
He only played 42% of the snaps, but he rushed for 102 yards, got a rushing and a receiving touchdown. Derrick Henry, dude, is an animal. I mean, you can't slow down a dinosaur.
Yeah, it's
132 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Bijan finally putting up the numbers that we want. He's still not getting the amount of usage. Algier's still getting heavily used in that offense. We'll be talking about him in a minute. But he still had a good week out there. Had 95 rushing yards, 10 receiving, had 2 rushing touchdowns. But, it was against that Carolina defense that is not very good.
Yep.
And then you mentioned David Montgomery earlier, had a couple rushing touchdowns, 80 rushing yards, making that money. He got that check and went out there and showed him that it was worth it. I think Tyrone Tracy's about to be the dude for the Giants. I mean, a lot of what he did was kind of in garbage time with the receiving, but it's still he was out there. He was a wide receiver converted to a running back. So dude has the pass catching chops, but he's also a pretty solid runner, and he's very explosive out there. But he had 50 rushing yards, 57 receiving yards for 107 total yards from scrimmage and a rushing touchdown. And then we just mentioned Tyler Algier, who had 105 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. So he had 18 carries. So he's a solid flex play, I think, moving forward. I think Bijan's still going to be your more consistent play, but Algier is still somebody you can throw in a flex and feel pretty good about it.
Yes.
Najee finally looked explosive a little bit this week. He had a couple pretty decent runs and looked loose out there. So, it was against Vegas, so we have to always keep that in account.
Take that with a grain.
Yeah, but he had 106 yards and a rushing touchdown. DeAndre Swift, another good week, but another bad defense. Is kind of the same thing what's going on with Caleb Williams. DeAndre Swift is that they're both. Look, here's what you're supposed to do against bad defenses.
This is what's to expect.
I don't want to take away from it because it's kind of like in college when you're like, well, they ain't really played anybody. Yeah, but they beat the shit out of everybody they're supposed to beat the shit out of.
As long as they're doing their numbers against the defenses they're supposed to, and just be ready when they do play good defenses to have a pivot.
Right, have a pivot or just be tempered that when they play somebody that's of a reasonable defense.
And they get 8 points instead of 20, then know that that's what you got to look forward to.
Bucky Irvin looked good out there too. He had 14 carries, 81 rushing yards, 24 receiving, had a rushing touchdown. J.K. Dobbins, I mean, this dude plays 73% of the snaps. He rushed the ball 25 times. I mean, he wasn't super efficient, but he got it done and got you a rushing touchdown. He's the dude. Gus is now on the IR.
He's definitely the dude.
J.K. Dobbins is looking like one of the steals probably of this year's fantasy draft. Yeah,
no doubt. That's somebody I faded a lot of because it's hard. There's nothing to really trust. And everybody knew what Gus was.
Yeah.
It just didn't.
No, I faded him too.
But
the thing about fading him this year was that his value was so good that in some leagues you were getting him in the 11th, 12th rounds, and then he was worth it.
Yeah.
He was worth a flyer because you're just like, well, I'll just take a shot at this guy.
Especially if you'd already grabbed Gus in the 5th or something, or 6th, or so you could take that shot.
Had he been an earlier pick, I wouldn't have had any shares of him, but I'm lucked out and I've got a few just off of the fact that he was so
faded.
You get valued.
Everybody.
Kenneth Walker had another decent week. I mean, he really wasn't explosive or anything, but he was the RB12. He had 32 rushing, 37 receiving, but he got a touchdown and kind of saved his week.
Yeah.
All right, going over to wide receivers. Chris Godwin. I mean, this guy has been a revelation this year. He's only really had his bad weeks. He put up 9 and 8 points and a half point PPR.
Yeah.
And so, but other than that, he's been kind of like I said, a revelation.
Baker loves that guy.
Yeah, he does. He's currently the wide receiver 2 on the season after this week, but he had 11 receptions, 125 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns, 13 targets. So I love that. A.J. Brown coming off injury and just right back in the mix. He had 6 receptions, 116 yards and a touchdown. Love to see that. Terry McLaurin, like I've mentioned, he's Daniels has unlocked McLaurin, and we finally got a quarterback who realizes that he's got one of the best receivers in the league and is getting the ball to him regularly. He had 6 receptions, 53 yards, but 2 of those were touchdowns, which was just awesome.
Yes.
Debo doing what Debo does, man. This guy's running the ball. He's catching the ball. 3 receptions for 102 yards. Yeah. I mean, that's just you love to see that. And, of course, now I just swiped completely out of there. All right, but luckily it didn't reset everything. Gabe Davis finally showing up. He had 2 receiving touchdowns out of nowhere, 45 receiving yards. Keenan Allen also out of nowhere, but I mean, I guess not really out of nowhere. It's his first game that he I guess he's been, quote, healthy. Yeah, and so he had a couple receiving touchdowns, looked great out there getting those. Romeo Doubs, this was a squeaky wheel game. He only had 3 receptions, but 2 of those receptions were touchdowns. I did appreciate him. I don't. He didn't show up to practice. He got suspended. They had a come to Jesus talk. They put him back out there. Said they got faith in him. And then I don't know if it's on both, but one of the touchdowns, he just was like hugging all his teammates.
Yeah.
So I think. You love to see that because you think everybody gets frustrated at a thing.
Yeah. No,
and I think everybody is going to act out. There's been times in my life where I acted out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to label somebody a diva or somebody this or that because of one instant. It's repeat offenders that you should judge more harshly.
Yeah.
And Romeo Doubs, for the most part, has been a pretty solid dude. And then he's frustrated. He's in an offense with a lot of wide receivers, but he just felt like he wasn't getting his due. And he got it, and then he kind of showed some love. So we'll see how that is moving forward. But he's somebody that I'm low key kind of buying into as a flex play the rest of the season because I just think that he's going to be a very consistent part of their offense.
Yeah.
Demario Douglas, we talked about him. You brought him up last week. He is somebody you need to be talking about because I think he is the alpha of that offense, the receiving room. But he had 6 receptions for 92 yards and got a touchdown. And I just think moving forward, he's going to be somebody we definitely want to buy into because Drake May is a more explosive passer of the ball.
Oh, yeah.
And a playmaker far more than Brissett was.
And so is Demario Douglas. I don't think they were utilizing him as much as they should have been. He had 9 targets.
Yeah, well, when you don't have a playmaker at quarterback who's just check down Charlie, who's going to try to play conservative, then you get that. But when you got a guy that's going to move around in the pocket and let these guys make things happen in the open field, then you can get a little bit more of this stuff going. So Zay Flowers had 9 receptions, 132 yards.
That's record for him so far. I mean, that's a great game.
Deontay Johnson, another solid game, 6 receptions, 78 yards and a touchdown. Stephon Diggs without Nix out there, he was the guy.
Nico
out there. Yeah. He was the guy he was the go-to like oh man, it's not Kate Otten is not the quarterback of the Houston Texans.
CJ Stroud.
How did I get Kate? My brain was just like Kate Otten.
I was expecting something, but not that. Not that at all.
I have no idea, dude. I was like trying to think of the quarterback for the Houston Texans. My brain's went, it's Kate Otten.
Oh yeah. No, that's not it at all. Yes, you need to sit down and have a talk with your brain and be like, look, brain,
bro, I've been talking to this.
This is
at least for the last, I'd say 15 years I've been having daily conversations with it, and
that might be the problem.
Anywhere. But yeah, I think
CJ Stroud.
I think Stephon Diggs was his security blanket, and he did a pretty good job at it. Drake London, another good week, 10 targets, 6 receptions, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Feeling good about that. Jameson Williams, 3. He only had 3 receptions, but one of them's for a touchdown, and this dude is just explosive, 76 yards.
He looks so good.
Yeah.
He really does.
Let's see. Josh Downs. If Flacco's out there, that dude is money. Yes. He has 7 receptions, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Tank Dell, finally got involved on the week that I benched him because I just was worried.
Without Nico out there,
luckily I'm still going to get the dub. But I traded to get him, and then I have only played him in 1 game, and it was a bad game. And now I benched him on a good game, and so I'm like, I need to get some return on this trade. So there it is on that. And then let's hit the tight ends real fast. Cole Kmet. I mean, every time I look, they were the early games, and every time I looked at my phone with an alert, because apparently I don't have. This is a mini rant. Why? For some reason, you cannot get the NFL Network app on PlayStation.
Oh yeah. I remember you calling me about that and everything.
So, and I don't know where my Xbox is. I have unplugged it and put it somewhere, and I'm looking for it. Anyway, long story short, I couldn't get the game on TV, and I didn't want. And I watched it a little bit on my phone, but I also had to set my fantasy lineups in all my leagues. So, and this time was ticking down. But anyway, every time I got an alert, it was Cole Kmet scoring another touchdown.
Yeah.
He had 5 receptions, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. George Kittle, this is 3 good weeks in a row. It might be 4 good weeks in a row.
It might be the year of the Kittle.
It might be Kittle. The next week's going to be a bad week.
Nah.
5 receptions, 50 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mark Andrews, finally. He only got 3 receptions off 4 targets, but at least he got 66 yards and a touchdown.
Like, I was like, they just targeted Mark Andrews in the red zone?
Well, he targeted him last week, and then it was a bad pass because I saw – if you watch the by the way, I don't know if I've ever seen this many clips of Lamar. I like Lamar Jackson. I didn't dislike him before. I had no reason to. I've always been a low key. Like, I liked him in college. I like the way he plays the game, but I haven't never like seen him talk and stuff. This dude's funny.
He cuts up. He does cut up.
And he cuts up, and he's real candid at times about things, you know. And he was candid about how Mark Andrews was mad at him last week because he tried to get him a touchdown, and it was a bad target. He goes, he didn't say nothing, but I knew he was mad. And he goes, so I knew I had to get him one. He goes, it's been since like week 10 of last week. And you know what's funny is that we always wonder if the quarterbacks think about that. And good quarterbacks
pay attention
to their receivers and want to help them get to their things, which is why. Baker, you should have got Mike Evans' 100th.
I think he's waiting until next week when it's like somebody's birthday.
Yeah, maybe.
It's going to be like Mike Evans' daughter's birthday or something, and he's going to throw a touchdown to him first pass of the game, 82 yards for a touchdown. Or something
that'd be great, too.
Yeah.
Trey McBride, the tight end 4 on the week, 13.6 points, 8 receptions, 96 yards. Evan Ingram finally showing back up on the scene off the injury report and straight into 10 targets and 102 yards.
Just the offense.
Yeah.
Like I was nervous. I was like, because it was questionable and like, okay, he's going to start, and it was early game, so I didn't think about it. And I'm like, well, I got Goddard and I got I had somebody else in.
Please tell me you left Ingram in.
No, I didn't. He was on my bench. And I had
targets.
I was like, you know what? I'll just go with Goddard and the other one, which actually Cole Kmet. Kmet.
Okay, well that was a 2 tight end league.
Yeah, it's a 2 tight end league, and I had Ingram on the bench, and I was like, well, I should pull Goddard and throw in Ingram, and I was like, well, no, because they just said he's good. I doubt he gets. It'll probably be like 5 targets. He'll get 3 of them for like 40 yards. And I didn't realize it was going to be
30% of the snaps.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be 10 for 105 and nearly a touchdown. Like,
Terrell forgot about the early games, and he left Strange.
Left Benton Strange in there. He was very upset about that. Yes, he was. As he should have been.
Sam Laporta only needed 1 target to have a good week, but he caught that target for 52 yards.
That trick play, man. It went through 4 different hands and got into his. So
Brock Bowers had 9 receptions, 71 yards. Hunter Henry, the tight end, 8 on the week. You talked about him, had 3 receptions for only 41 yards, but he did get the tud. Noah Fant, 6 receptions for 63 yards. And then Zach Ertz, 4 receptions, 68 yards and tud.
We got to talk about him a little later, too.
Yeah, because he was on some toast and roast stuff. So that's the top performers of the week. And so from there, let's roll into toast or roast. All right,
nice.
I'm on the 1s and 2s over here. DJ Dan mixing it up.
Yes.
All right, toast or roast. So I'll kick it off. So I said don't play Trevor Lawrence this week. He's going against Chicago, and I mean I was wrong because he didn't kill you. He wasn't QB 14 on the week. He got you 18.
Well, there's 2 more QBs to play tonight, so he'll probably end up being 16 on the week.
I mean, if you had anybody that played, like if you had Trevor, but if you played Dak over him, you're going to be pissed.
Oh, yeah. No, but
if you played Purdy over him, you're going to be happy. So,
exactly.
But so I'm not going to take, I'll take I'll give that. And then I said, don't play Keon Coleman, which he plays tonight, so we have to see about that. And I said, don't play Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle got a lot of garbage time receptions, so he only got 10.5 fantasy points. He's the RB 26 on the week, but that definitely didn't kill you. And if you're running Rico Dowdle out there, that's about what you're expecting.
Well, you probably knew he was going to have Cooper Rush throwing it to him, so.
yeah. And so
total joke. Yeah,
those were my don'ts. So tell me about your bottoms.
Do we have to?
Uh-oh.
No, actually, you know what? I pulled a back-to-back.
Oh, yeah?
Surprisingly, yes.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to start off with the worst of the worst.
Okay.
I told everybody to go pick up Luke McCaffrey versus Baltimore.
Yeah.
He did leave the game. And was out for a while, but he came back. Yeah. So it's not really against. He got you 1 point.
How many percent of the snaps did
he paid 38% of the snaps.
Yeah, so we're not. We'll give a.
So but it still hurts you. But
yeah, because also we don't know how healthy he was when he came back.
And what? Yeah, because I think they evaluated him for concussion, and you know how sometimes it's kind of a toss up or whatever. But either still, I said go out and pick up Jatavian Sanders, owning 6% of leagues.
Yes, and I did that.
He had 7 targets. He had 5 receptions. It wasn't huge, but he still got you 6.5 points and a half-point PPR. That's over Baker's bottom. I mean, it's right at and
that's
over.
Amazing, and a full point's even better.
Exactly.
So I played him in a tight end premium.
Oh, so you would have had like 10 to 12 points.
Yeah, he got me double-digit points, and I was pretty pumped.
Because
I think it was either him or like Will Dissly. So.
That was a big play then. That was a definite dodge on that because and then I said, this is what we talked about earlier, Demario Douglas owning 12% of leagues. I said, go grab him. I think this is going to be that comfort for Drake May, and he did good for you. Yeah. He got you 18.2 points in a half-point PPR.
That deserves an actual toast.
Hey, I'll toast to that.
There we go.
I'll toast to that. And also, too, as this is Toast to Roast, what I'm going to do is tomorrow morning I'm going to video myself fixing a cup of coffee.
That's right.
I will drink it and post it to our Facebook page.
Yeah.
So if you want to see it.
Well, research it and see if he put sugar in it. If he says whether he put sugar in it too, because that might help.
I'll just do mayonnaise in my coffee.
Do you drink? How do you generally drink your coffee?
Black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that's fine because I like my coffee like a dessert. Okay.
No, I like my coffee with sugar. Like not with sugar. Like if I drink coffee, I just drink coffee. Like it's just black. But if I get like these frou coffee, ice mocha, like a
ding dong.
Oh yeah, no, I like a ding dong. But I just like when I drink coffee. If I want coffee, I just drink black coffee. All I drink.
Who knows? Maybe moving forward,
it might be black.
Yeah, black
coffee mayonnaise. Yeah, black and mayonnaise. That's going to be the name of my next album too. Black and mayonnaise.
We're going to leave that one laying right there.
Just let that go.
Right.
But yeah.
So
I will drink it tomorrow morning because I did say, and he did not. He did the worst.
But you did remember.
Yeah,
he was coming off an injury before the bye. His shoulder was still being iced.
Yeah, they were still
the game.
They were still messing him up, and I just like when I saw him out there, I was like, and then I saw him throw the touchdown. I'm like, well, maybe it's not gonna matter. Maybe he'll do something, and then that's all he did was that one touchdown. So,
but the problem is not only was that, but that dude,
he's garbage can.
Terrell's got a wooden box that he built out of scrap pieces of plywood that he used to put his mic on before we upgraded.
Yeah,
but it's the Bet box, and that box has a higher IQ, I'm pretty sure, than Will Levis does.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
I mean, did you see him take out the daggum ball boy on the sideline?
Oh yeah. No,
that was bad, and it's like every week this guy's doing something
to get memes made about him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, he is the meme king.
He is a walking meme.
He is the meme king. Collectively,
he was
2 of my 3 Baker's Bottoms did fucking good for you. I think so. I thought it was good. Not bad.
All right, I'm going to roll into my smashes. So my quarterback smash of the week was Daniel Jones, and apparently Cincinnati was like, hey, we're going to fix our defense because we're playing the Giants.
The Giants did the same thing, really. I mean,
well, the Giants' defense has been okay all year, but Cincinnati's defense has been right there with Washington. Mm-hmm. And then they finally, they were like, nah, we're gonna be good this week.
Yeah, we're gonna shut it down.
Daniel Jones only got you 12.8 fantasy points, and he was a QB 19 on the week. Nope. And I'll go ahead and do the other bad one. I said play DJ Moore versus Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. I had him on Fuck That Guy.
Yeah. He had 6 fantasy points, wide receiver 54. All right. Those are the 2 bad. So I'm 50-50. My halfback smash of the week was David Montgomery at Dallas. He was 21 points, running back 6 on the week.
Monster.
Yeah, I'm taking that. And then my tight end smash of the week was even better than that. He was Trey McBride at Green Bay. He was the tight end 3 on the week at 17.6.
Nice.
Fantasy points. I'm going to take that. I'm going to go ahead and
hey, I'll toast that.
Let's give a little actual toast on that.
Toast.
I needed it after the two. Hopefully, Keon. Well, I don't want to say hopefully. I like Keon Coleman. Hopefully, he goes out there and balls out.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't ball out, at least then I can have another win.
We can toast you one more time. All right. So my smashes. I'm gonna go with my worst two.
All right.
I said Laporta was going to smash coming in off the bye.
No, that counts. That's your worst?
That's my worst.
Oh, my God.
He finished his tight end 6 on the week on one catch. On one catch, 11.7 points. Right. I then said smash quarterback Jaden Daniels. He finished with 20.96 QB10 on the week. He had a pretty good week. Yeah. I was like, Deebo Samuel is going to ball this week. You got to get him, smash it. 20.7, wide receiver 4 as of right now.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, you know what? Bijan Robinson's probably going to do good against the Panthers. Grab him, 24 points, running back 4 on the week. So
that's a clean slate.
Had we put that matchup out there, I'd have won some fucking matches and shit. But so how'd your streamers look last week?
We'll hit those. I guess we can go ahead and throw them in this segment. So
it'll come up just before waivers, right?
Yeah. So my streamers last week. I had Keith Cousins. He had 12.5 points. He's a QB 21 on the week.
That was all on the running backs, man. That game was all running back.
But I'm going to claim, because you're talking about streamers here, I'm going to claim wins on the next two guys. Zach Ertz was my streamer of the week at tight end. He got you 10.8. So
yeah, he was my streamer too.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and give that.
Yeah, we got that. That's good.
And then I had the Eagles defense versus the Browns, and again, I'm taking it as a dub because they got you 6, and anything above 5 for me on a team defense is,
yeah.
So how'd your
Well, get the womp out, because I said Will Levis is going to be your streamer this week. This deserves all my positives. This just ruined all of it. This sinks it all to the bottom level.
Yeah, all right.
But then my defensive streamer, according to the lineup that you set up in that one league, I said the Texans versus the Patriots.
Yeah,
they still had a really good week. They put up 15 points.
Oh man,
they had 4 sacks. 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries.
That's awesome.
Even though Drake May had a good game, their defense still showed up a little bit.
I'm learning with team defenses. I don't give a shit how many points they get scored against them. I need sacks, pressures, turnovers,
definite turnovers. Yeah, forced fumbles and fumble recoveries. They all count.
All I look for in team defenses now is who's going to get pressure in the quarterback's face.
Yep, and who's going to push them? Who's going to push them to fuck up? Yeah, I mean that's what you want. But they got you 15 points. So
all right, and you had Zach Ertz as your
and Zach Ertz was my tight end. Our tight end. Yes.
All right. Well, from there, let's roll into the waiver wire.
Yes.
All right. So, running back waiver wire. I'm going to hit on.
It's pretty deep.
4. I've got 4.
I've got 4 as well. So
and so my top. This is my top grab of the week on any level of any player if he's out there. But he is owned in 56% of leagues, so you have to take that into account. But Tyrone Tracy, if he's out there, you need to give him dump your whole fab, whatever you got to do, get him on your team. This guy has the potential to be a league winner by the end of the season if this offense continues to improve. But at bare minimum, he could be an RB2. He's just got the skill set, and you know, he could really be great for your team. Tyler Algier needs to be grabbed. He's only owned right now currently in 40% of sleeper leagues. If he's out there, he needs to be on your fucking roster. That offense is so good. You're looking at a similar thing to what's going on in Detroit with the running backs. They're both getting enough usage that they could both potentially be wide receiver or running back ones, but at the bare minimum, if Bijan finishes as a top 12, Tyler Algier is going to be a top 15.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's going to be right there.
Yeah, so you can play them both with confidence every week, and their offense is just clicking right now. This is somebody. If you've got Jordan Mason, you should have already had this guy.
Yes.
But Isaac Garendo, he's only owned in 5% of leagues.
Yep.
So you go out there and get him now. Just to keep him away from the Jordan Mason owner. So, you know, if you're just because if
Mason's still nursing it, he could start next week. I mean, he could be the starter next week.
Yeah, but Garendo still needs to be owned just because we see now that, you know, if Mason gets hurt, it's going to be Garendo, and he looks pretty damn explosive.
Yep.
And then Sean Tucker, I'm still a little weary in redraft leagues about snatching Sean Tucker. If you've got a bench spot,
if you got space,
grab him. But when Rondell Moore comes back, he's going to be in this offense. They're not just going to bench him. And Bucky's already in this offense.
Oh, so Rashad White, not Rondell Moore.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, you're good.
Who the fuck?
I don't know why Rondell Moore.
Rondell Moore?
He's the receiver on the Falcons. He's going to be explosive when he comes off the IR.
Holy crap.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, Rashad White.
Holy crap.
They both used to wear red jerseys.
Moore is on the IR.
Yeah, I know.
Hasn't even played this. Holy crap. That was worse. That might be worse than me thinking the Kate Otten was the quarterback of
No. It's not.
Well, at least I didn't say Kate Otten with confidence. I knew it was
you
wrong.
said Rondell Moore like you knew what you were talking about.
Yeah. No, okay.
That's true.
Rashad White comes back. Him and Bucky Irvin are going to be the main guys. Sean Tucker is strictly going to be a change of pace.
Yeah.
And if one of them goes down, he will get more usage. But again, Rondell Moore's oh my God, I did it again. Rashad White is dealing with an injury. He's coming off an injury. And so his status, is whatever. So, like I said, if you can put him on a bench, put him there. But if not, put him on the watch list.
That makes sense.
So, is there any other running backs that I didn't talk about that you have on your list?
One is strictly depending on what happens with James Conner. I monitor it. And
Exactly. I should have.
So there. I mean, you got Trey Benson, but Democrado gets used a lot more in the pass game, and he has the last 2 weeks with the absence of Conner. So it's just somebody to, if you've got Conner, it probably wouldn't hurt you to pick up Democado because they're not using Benson near as much. He only had 8% of the snaps. Democrado's out there for 23% of the snaps. So,
also,
and then
Jonathan Brooks for the Panthers, and you need to be looking to see if he's available.
Yeah, he's going to be
because his window is now open. So. Well, I don't know. We don't know what the Panthers are going to do, but they got 21 days now to decide what they're going to do. So.
Exactly. And the next one is Vidal, Kamani Vidal.
Yes.
With Gus going on the IR, this guy's his first game in. He came out there. He only had 4 touches for 11 yards, which wasn't great, but he had 2 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. There's some explosiveness there.
And this is a run-first offense.
It's definitely going to be somebody he's going to get usage, and it's going to build. And I think this could be potentially a league winner as well with J.K. Dobbins, who we've known has had injury issues in the past. It's good to have that cup. And with Gus not there, this guy's going to get a lot more playing time. So I'm looking at both of them. I'm not saying go get them, but there's somebody you should definitely monitor right now because it's early. If you got
I would say Kamani Vidal is somebody you need to get.
You can get.
Especially if you have J.K. Dobbins.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Based off of his injury history, it's just whoever his backup is a good guy to have on your
definitely
your
a safe bet, yeah. And he did good. His first time on the field, really, this was this week. So,
all right, I've only got 3 wide receivers, and they're all owned in over 50% of the leagues, so maybe you got some different guys.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Well, I got Romeo Doubs. He's owned 53% of leagues. He's somebody you need to have on your roster. He can probably be he's going to be up and down. It's not going to be like I think he's going to be fairly consistent. Like I would say, when I say fairly consistent, I don't think he's going to dip below like 6 or 7 points, and he's also can get you 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Darius Slayton definitely needs to be on your roster. He is the main target besides Wan'Dale Robinson, with
Malik Neighbors being out.
And when Neighbors comes back, I don't think Slayton's going to disappear out of this offense. So he's still somebody that I think is viable to be on your bench. And then Jalen Tolbert, he didn't have a great week, but he still got the targets and he still got usage. And so I think that he's owned by 51% of the league. So if he's out there, you need to snatch him up because he is the number 2 receiver currently for the Dallas Cowboys. And so who else you got over there?
I got Demario Pop Douglas.
Yeah,
14% of leagues. I mean, and Drake May.
He's owned more than 14% because I looked up. There's a reason I didn't have Demario on here.
I showed him was only 14% of the leagues going off of the.
If you were,
it might have been a best.
If you were in the best ball league, yeah.
Well, you think he'd be owned more in best ball, but
no, I don't know. But I
could be misspoken, but I'm pretty certain it's probably not going to be over 40%.
I mean, yeah. If Demario Douglas is out there, you need to. But I'll check real quick what his ownership percentage is because I thought I looked him up.
I looked up everything.
And I thought he was over 60%
in the best ever. Was it?
But no, you're right. You were 1,000% right. He's a 14% owned.
Yeah, he's
barely I feel dumb for missing him. So,
but I mean, barely owned in leagues and stuff. And I think with Drake May, they've already said he's going to start the next 3 games.
Yeah,
minimal. So, I mean, I think this is a growing opportunity, and he could definitely pay dividends. I'm also looking at Sterling Shepard if you're desperate because he's being used. He's got an average of 8 points, fantasy points the last 3 weeks under Baker Mayfield.
And his Baker's college buddy.
And he's owned in 0% of leagues. So, I mean, if you're desperate and you need somebody, this guy's going to get you 6-8 points. Bub Means for the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
If this with
Spencer Rattler, because that's who he's probably been throwing to all season in practice.
Spencer Rattler starting the next 3 weeks, and I don't know what's going on with Olave, how serious this concussion could be. We've seen people miss multiple weeks.
Yeah.
This could easily be a Bub Means reemergence. Like he can come out here and just blow it up, and nobody's even looking at him owning 0% of leagues.
Remergent. He's never emerged.
I mean, emergence.
There we go.
Excuse me. Yeah, my bad. And then I said it earlier, and they finally made him active. He's out there. I don't know what changed. I need to look into that, but. Devon Bell for the Broncos.
This dude, we were on him early, then he got hurt, and then he came back and they didn't use him, and then all of a sudden they got used again this week.
Well, they healthy scratched him 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that's why I dumped him.
And then now he was out there for 60%. He got 6 targets. He caught 5 of them for like 80 yards.
Well, he had one big catch.
Super productive.
Like a 60-something yard catch.
Exactly. So, I mean, this guy, he should be part of, both times he's been active in the games, he's been uber productive. And I just, I hate missing out. This is
Denver's looking for playmakers.
Exactly. And a lot of times I look at this and I go, oh, well, we need to wait and give it one more week. I don't want to miss that week because next week could be the week when he puts up 18 or 20 on
he's going to be hard. And the thing is, too, is a lot of times is when the reason I try to grab people either in Dynasty or even in redraft when I got a spot is I try to grab somebody that's either going to have opportunity if somebody gets hurt during the week or they're getting 3-4 targets. They're getting 35-40% of the playing time.
Yeah.
But they've been doing something with it. And this is kind of what that guy is. And then all of a sudden they can break out. Because once they break out, you can't get them.
You'll never be able to get them.
And you got to fight with everybody. So it's better to grab them a week early.
Exactly.
There's very few things in fantasy that feel as good as when you grabbed Bucky Irvin the week before everybody else knew who the fuck he was.
Before he blew up.
And you know that everybody's going to put a waiver claim in for him. Yeah, they don't see him, so they type his name in the search.
See who has him.
And then they see your team, and then they're like, why does he always do this?
Look, Baker's
there's
bottom.
Nothing that makes me feel better. Winning makes me feel better, but there's very few things that make me feel better than
winning
knowing I
with
snatched
someone
the guy that everybody wants.
Winning with someone that everybody realizes
or
too
even
late.
if he's just on my roster when everybody else wants him.
Yeah, no, that's go. Trust me, that's why I love the Baker's Bottom segment because
I know how pissed off I am when I go to look for somebody
and he's on my team.
That should be on waivers. He's on your team. He's on Terrell's team.
Yeah, he's on somebody else's team.
That's why I hate playing in teams with leagues with people who know shit too.
Exactly. But yeah, I think this guy's he's. I'm not even going to say he's primed for a breakout because every time he plays, he's putting up points.
Yeah.
He's doing great out there as a rookie.
He's solid if he's out there. The 2 healthy scratches got me off of it.
Oh, yeah. No, I know.
He was injured, and I was like, I'm going to hold him.
Yeah.
And then I held him. He came back, and then he was healthy, and I'm like, all right, now we're ready. And then it was a healthy scratch.
Yep.
And then it was another healthy scratch. And I'm like, man, this dude's lost his job. You know what it was? Josh Reynolds broke his leg. Or got hurt.
Got hurt.
I don't know. It was something happened to Josh Reynolds. I think he broke something.
I had to go look. I was going to go look and see what above him in the depth chart.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Now that I think about it.
But this could be an open opportunity.
Yeah.
If he is out, if it's a broken leg, that's a season-ending injury. This guy could easily take you to the promised land.
This is one chance. Seize his opportunity.
One opportunity.
Yeah.
to seize everything he ever wanted in 3 moments.
In 3 moments. All right.
But yeah, that's the only wide receivers I got. No, that's the only wide receivers I got there.
All right, well, I'll hit my streamers for the week. My quarterback streamer is Drake May at Jacksonville.
Same.
So we both have the same streamer.
Yeah, we got the same.
Jacksonville is absolute garbage. You want to target quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers against them. That team is a sinking ship. They're playing in London. They're staying in London.
Nobody has Drake May on their team.
Yeah, so. and in redraft, unless it's a super flex, nobody's got Drake May. He's most likely available.
Yep.
So I would go try to snatch him up, play him against Jacksonville in London. And then my tight end streamer is Cade Otton.
Same.
Versus
God damn, did you read off my paper? Did you cheat off my test over here?
Apparently.
I did. I got an honorable mention, though, so I'll put that out there as well.
But Cade Otton versus Baltimore. Baltimore's bleeding points to tight ends, wide receivers, anything in the passing game. And I just think it's going to be a good week for Cade Otton. And then my streaming defense is the Rams versus...
Not the same.
I said the Rams. I got the Rams versus the Rams.
Of course they're going to. Have you seen the Rams offense? The Rams defense is going to shred the Rams offense.
Well, let's see who the Rams are playing this week. Who the hell are the Rams playing? Is it the Raiders? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yes.
With Aiden O'Connell out there.
The Rams playing the Rams. Yeah.
Man, let's go.
So I got the Rams playing. They're at home versus the Raiders, coming off a bye. And the Raiders are already giving up tons of points to any team defense they play anyway. So it was just an easy call. So
yeah.
All right. So give me your honorable mention. We have the same quarterback. We technically have the same tight end, but you got some honorable mentions or a honorable mention?
My honorable mention for tight end is Grant Calasantra. Calasantra?
Oh, the backup tight end for
the Eagles.
For the Eagles, yeah.
This is a team that heavily relies on pass catchers and their tight end in Dallas Goedert, who's been healthy all season, but he left with a quad injury, and it could be something that makes him miss a week.
Yeah.
And in the time he was down, so Grant went from 47% on average to 92%. He was tight end 11 on the week on 4 receptions and 67 yards. So this guy is somebody else that they can use and will use, and they're playing against the Giants next week, which we saw kind of floundered a little bit this week. So there's a good shot that if they can kind of shut down A.J. Brown or close that off, that this guy can be relevant. So, I mean, if you want to try to take a shot at it, he's not going to be owned anywhere. Just as an honorable mention, I felt more confident in Cade Otton. But I think that Calcaterra,
yeah,
I think he's going to have a decent week as long as Goddard doesn't come back, mysteriously off his injury and everything. And then I went with the Bills defense this week against Tennessee, or next week against Tennessee.
Okay,
Tennessee's garbage, and Pollard's decent.
Well, yeah, and we
Bills,
know that. We know that the freaking Brown Levis is going to throw at least.
He's going to have to
4 interceptions.
And the Bills are terrible against the run, but I think that they're going to have to work on fixing that, and it's got to show sometime. So they're playing right now, and I don't know what the score is. I know Josh Allen ran a touchdown in. Yeah. That's all I know. But I just feel like next week the Bills defense is going to step up and it's going to shut Tennessee out, and it's going to be a good time to play. Well,
since we both had the same streaming quarterback, I'll give an honorable mention quarterback as well. I just looked up. It's not gonna. It's going to sound gross, but Tyler Huntley, they're coming off a bye. Miami's coming off a bye, and they're playing the Colts, and the Colts also are garbage can defense. Miami's a garbage can defense. This could be a back and forth game, and Tyler Huntley is not a bad quarterback. He's
new.
Yeah, he's new.
He's still wet
and that
behind the
offense is very complicated. So I think coming off the bye, they're going to have a game plan, and they're going to be ready to go out there and do something. And this is the defense, and this could be the moment for Tyler Huntley to go out there and light it up for a week and get you through. So I'll give Tyler Huntley as an honorable mention quarterback as well. So that way we give him a little bit more options. So
sweet.
So there it is. If anything we say or do helps you get to that average place in your league, that means we did our job. Because if you finish average, Matt,
you don't finish last.
That's exactly right. And that means we did our job. So I hope you guys did have a good fantasy week. Hope you're enjoying the Monday night game. And I hope everybody that needs to get the dub gets the dub, so long as they're not playing me.
Yeah, me too.
or Matt. And if we're playing each other, then I hope you lose.
And I hope you lose as well, my good friend.
Yes. So y'all be good, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Later.
Holla.